Hey, Kimberly Ann, how are you? Love you so much. God loves you. Let's do a quick PMM, a political ministry moment, all right? I've got about 20 things that I would like to talk about and need to be discussed, but we're just going to talk about a few. Let's do them into bite-sized morsels to make this a quick snatch for you today so that you can understand a few things that, I don't know, sometimes you are busy in your life and you hear something and you go, well, that's what I heard, so that must be what it is. Well, rarely is that what it is. So let's do this, okay? And so you know that the DNC going on right now. I want to catch a few things and I want to wrap them up and bring them to you. And then after we talk about it today, please go look these up. Please go look these up. Listen, when there's something that's just absolutely false, got to bring it to you. So let's go. Kamala brought forth her proposal for nearly $5 trillion. Fact. $5 trillion in tax increases that will continue to roll out over the next decade, or that would be, of course, as you know, 10 years. That's a decade. Now, today it's a subplot, I guess we could call it, because she's running for president, right? Now, next year, if she is elected in, it is now a policy issue. Again, nearly $5 trillion in tax increases over the next 10 years for you and for me. Now, a lot of lies you've been hearing about Trump's tax increases and so on and so forth. Can I break this down to you? Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it was called the TCJA. And I know there was a lot of stuff going on in the media, and boy, all you heard was yarn, 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 yarn while he was president, and maybe a lot of folks weren't paying attention. Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 was a tax reform law that simplified individual income taxes. So it did this. It reduced tax rates across the entire income spectrum. Now, it was a great thing, and you really got to dig into it and understand. And it doesn't take long. Go look it up. Find out. It reduced tax rates across the entire income spectrum. What did Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017 do? What did it actually do? It reduced average tax rates for taxpayers at all income levels. Seems right to do. Now, a lot of people go after the wealthiest, but isn't it right that no matter what you have, let's look at this. I might make a whole lot less than my neighbor. So should we go, well, all his fault. Well, let's go after him because he makes more than her. But, so they're like, want to do this for you, Kim, but we're going to go after him. I don't know how he made his money. May have worked very hard. All right, you might go, come on, we're talking about the big people. Okay, let's talk about that, all right? So this Tax Cut and Jobs Act of Trump that passed in 2017 reduced average tax rates for taxpayers at all income levels. How? It lowered marginal tax rates. It widened tax brackets, and it doubled the child tax credit. It doubled the child tax credit. Now, I had my biggest tax returns ever in my entire single mom life when Trump was president. And in the last 4 years, no tax credit. We've got a lot of situations you need to look individually at yours. If your children live in your house and you are the one who pays the bulk of or all of the bills for the cost of living, yeah, that is now not something that I am benefiting from at all, right? I received under the Biden-Harris administration almost $2,000 to $3,000, somewhere between the $2,000 and $3,000 less on my tax return than what I did when Trump was president. I am one of those who's a single mom, doing it all, paying for it all, right? Under Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, he nearly doubled each individual's standard deduction too. Yes, I saw that and benefited from that. So here's what it is. We were getting more of our own money. right? Okay. It also limited itemized deductions for state and local, and it put a cap on what the big corporations could claim. It put a cap on it, and then increased then the taxable income for higher income taxpayers. Yes, the Tax Act that Trump passed in 2017 did that, contrary to the popular that you might be hearing from the Democratic side. Now, the result was to reduce the overall tax burdens for all, okay? It reduced the overall tax burdens for all. Now listen, don't believe everything that you hear. This right now, go look it up. But you're hearing a lot of things. Anyway, yeah, you're hearing a lot of things. I'm just going to say lie after lie after lie after lie after lie being shouted and all theatrical about it right now. And you know what? Right now, wow, it's like I've been watching Trump. He's talking about policy, 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 policy. I want to know what the policies are. Now, I have not watched a whole lot of the DNC. And it's hard to watch, but you need to know a bit of what's going on because, what are you saying you're going to do? But what I heard mostly was trash, talk about Trump, trash, talk about Trump, trash, talk about Trump. Can I say this? The Democrats have had over 16 years, think about it, over 16 years recently here to do something really great. But so the mere 4 years that Trump was in, you're blaming him for everything? You've had 16 years. What have you done? And let's just say in the past collective 16 years, if you put it all together, that the Democrats have been in office. What have you done? How can you compare 4 years to 16 years and you blame the person that was in just the 4 years? Add to that, please add to that, everything that Trump did do in the 4 years he was in, when Biden got in, you go check it yourself, in the first 2 days of the Biden-Harris presidency, President Biden put into executive orders, signed executive orders, and he signed off and did away with almost everything that he could. If he could have gotten rid of all of it, he would have. But he signed by executive order in the first 2 days of his presidency everything that Trump did to reenact it, to flip it over, get rid of it, made it nullified. He got rid of everything. All right, no, wait. So most of what Trump did in his 4 years, Biden by executive order, not by vote or anything else. There needs to be a cap on the amount of executive orders that you can sign, by the way. And I've always thought that should be, put into a policy, made a bill. I've always believed that. But so now that further exacerbates my question. So why are you blaming him for everything when you got rid of almost everything that he did? How interesting is that? You think about it. Think about it. Come on. So the other statement that I hear being made a lot right now, every chance they get, Trump is not for the middle class. He's not for the factory worker. He's not for the single mom. That's so predictable. That is exactly who he is for. And while the DNC has had a remote truck, a remote trailer parked in front of their convention in which you can get free abortions, it's sickening. Think about it. While you're doing that, outside of your woo-woo and celebration and all your fancy stuff going on, babies are being killed right outside the convention center. What? So yesterday, Trump was at the border, talking about things at the border. By the way, while there was another man who was threatening his life, but Trump went anyway. And at the point where they thought that it was too dangerous, he said, we got to go for my own safety and he talked to the reporter for your own safety. I'm being asked to go because of that threat. Now, I believe they caught that guy. I think I saw that on the news on this morning. But Trump was out there anyway. He was out there talking about policies, talking about that, not talking about policies at the border while he stood in front of all those, sections of border wall that have been sitting there since for 4 years now? Just laying there. Pretty incredible. So listen, when they say we're for, I'll tell you who they're for. therefore yourself. Under Biden-Harris, I see thousands less of my own dollars in my own bank account and pocket for my own bills. Let's break it down further. In 2017, Trump was pushing for this and trying to get it passed the whole year of 2016. When the new Trump tax changes took place, the bottom half of income earners who had paid over 4.0% prior in the Democratic administration prior now have that drop to 3.4%. It went from 4.0 to 3.4. Average rates declined for everyone all across the economic board. Go look it up. All income groups had tax relief. So listen, we can only just talk about these for today. We're going to talk about a chunk of these other things. Then tomorrow we'll do another PMM, political ministry moment, and then a regular ministry moment. Listen, also, the 10 million illegal immigrants that have come across the border, everyone can come through the border and do it, go through the legal process. But when you come through illegally, can I just say this? Let's just suppose that, if I can just break it down and make it really simple, let's just suppose that you and your family legally, let's just say your name is on your bank accounts, on your house mortgage, on all of your bills. Let's just say that it is. It's on all of those things and you're managing those, and it's between you and your family and then who you're, dealing with and owing the money to or whatever. But think about all those things that legally, because you're a legal participant in those things, then you have a say so. Let's just suppose that someone just came up off the street, right? And all of a sudden they sat into all of your meetings and went, oh, I'm going to vote on that. I'm going to vote what you do, who's in charge of it, what you get, what you don't get. Well, wait, who are you? Listen, go through the process legally. Then we know you can be vetted. We know everything about you. You go through legally. You show your allegiance to America. All right. But what the Harris presidency, well, I'm going to say it, what the Biden-Harris administration is trying to do right now because they're believing Kamala will be the next president of the United States before the election. They're trying to push this through very fast. That how many of the 10 million illegal people that cross the border in our country right now, how many of them can we quickly give the legal right to vote in this next presidential election in November? What? Come on. It doesn't take a rocket scientist or a brain surgeon to see the intricacies of that. It's obvious. It's obvious. So just a few things that I wanted to point out to you today. You go look them all up, but it's very important that we know facts. So go look it up. Go look into it. Can I say this today to you? Hold up. One thing I want to make sure. All right. Look at this. Do you want a nation that is of the government, by the government, and for the government? Of the government, by the government, and for the government. And whoever is crying out now because they know that their policies are socialist, that's the direction we're going, and they actually proclaim it proudly that they're progressive socialists. And progressive socialism is like the frog in the pan, and they heat it up little by little by little so that you accept it and accept it and accept it until, it's too late when you realize you're cooked. And they keep saying, oh, well, but we're not socialists because of this, and this. Actually, it's because of this, and this that you are. And you do say it proudly and specifically, yeah, in some instances. But then in another area, you'll say, oh, no, that's not what we're doing. Yeah. It's who we are, and these are those policies. But no, we're not that. That's such a dichotomy. You say this, then you say this. You say this, then you do this. Doesn't go together. Do you want a country that is of the people, by the people, and for the people? Or do you want a government that is of the government, by the government, for the government? How many millions of government housing do they want to build now? Government in control of? How many are built and when? And they're going to be in control of the land, of the housing, but saying that, hey, you're going to own your own home. Just millions and millions of you, 13 million new people are going to own a home. You're not really going to own it at all. You won't own the land, you won't own the home, and you're not being given from the government that $25,000 each of you so that you can finally own your first home. No, that will come from you, and it will come from us, and it will come from taxes and taking care of that price gouging. We're going to talk about this tomorrow on another PMM. Government set pricing on your groceries, not a good thing. How dare you tell the farmer what he needs and should charge for his apples or his corn crop? Really? Really? And any other area you want to go into. Again, government control now. You're going to find things not available, things that are in scarcity, and the lowest level of prices, that's going to stay because the government will have decided it. But the high end of what it will cost you, it's never going to have a cap because the government will raise it as the government sees fit, because now you have given them the permission to set the prices on groceries. Can I hit one more thing? One more thing, and then I've got to go. One more thing. It was called, in the first day of the DNC, if you watched, I'll talk about it more tomorrow, an automatic candidacy. Watch that. Again, government control. So what they did was, because this is what they're doing with this whole thing, right? I'm going to speak to the Democratic Party. You as the Democratic Party, you did not get an opportunity, did you, to choose a candidate that you could vote for because that's the one that you wanted in. You were told what candidate would be in, and you're like, there it is, right? Is that not true? It is true. And it was arranged exactly how it was arranged, so that's what happened. I'm sure there are many ones, as the Democrats, right? Speaking to the Democrats right now, this is not a rule in the RNC, the Republican National Party or Convention, not a rule there. The first thing they did in the first 5 minutes, and you saw it on a big screen, watch it, right, was that they now wrote into their bylaws that automatic candidacy is now acceptable and voted yay first and seconded, and boom, and it's done. You watched it happen. They got done with it real quick. But you've got to understand now that now was voted on not by you, not by the Democrats in the United States of America. No, just by who was there. And they were what? The big donors, the $1 million people, all the Democrats that were there at the DNC, they were the only ones who got to vote this in. Now watch and see if it doesn't happen. Next time, are you going to have the opportunity to have Democratic candidates put before you and you get to vote on and decide in the primaries who it is that now is the one that you're going to vote on versus, who's going to be going against the Republican candidate in an election? Or now, because they said, hey, this is what we're proposing, this is what we're doing, I first the motion, who's going to second the motion? All say aye, who's second the motion? They all went aye. Okay, how many are opposed to the motion? You know how quick he did it. How many are opposed to the motion? All right, it's done. So, could it be now, because that's in the bylaws, it was seconded and the gavel came down, done, that they could then, later in the Democratic Party, put before you the candidate that the government chooses, once again, and they say to you, this is the candidate that you will vote for if you're going to vote with your party. There are no others. This is the one we put before you. It's called an automatic candidacy. It's what they did. And it was voted on, agreed upon, and now it's in the bylaws. Could it be? It's called government control. Just saying. A PMM with you today. I love you so much. God loves you. Go look it all up. Go look it all up. My heart to your heart all day long today. Until next time.